Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about something that honestly surprises a lot of parents, and that is hair loss in children. Because most people think hair loss only happens to adults. They think about stress, hormones, aging, but not kids. But yes, children can absolutely experience hair loss, and in many cases parents notice it suddenly. Maybe they're brushing their child's hair and they see more shedding than usual. Maybe there's a bald patch, the edges are thinning, the scalp looks flaky, and understandably it can feel scary. The good news is that most childhood hair loss is not permanent, but the cause matters, and that's what we are going to break down today. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Dulcia Caro. I'm a trichology specialist passionate about scalp health, hair care, and helping people better understand the root causes of hair and scalp concerns. I also hold a master's degree in public health and integrative nutrition. And by the end of this video, you will understand the most common causes of hair loss in kids, what signs patterns should look for, what is usually temporary versus chronic, and when it's important to seek professional evaluation. And as always, this video is educational. It's not meant to diagnose your child online, but my goal is to help you better understand what might be happening. So let's get into it. One thing I really want parents to understand is this: hair loss in children should never be just brushed off. Now, does that mean every little strand is a medical emergency? No, kids naturally shed some hair every day just like adults. That is normal, but noticeable hair thinning, bald patches, excessive shedding, breakage, scalp inflammation, or changes in hair texture, those are signs that something might be going on. And sometimes parents are told things like, oh, it's probably nothing, they will grow out of it, it's just the stress. And while sometimes it is temporary, we still want to understand why it's happening, because hair is often a reflection of what's happening internally. Hair follicles are incredibly sensitive. They respond to inflammation, nutrient deficiencies, immune system activity, stress, infections, hormones, and physical tension. So when something disrupts the body, hair can be affected. And in children, there are certain causes we see much more commonly than others. So let's go through them one by one. One of the most common causes of patchy hair loss in children is alopecia areata. It's an immune condition, and what that means is the immune system mistakenly attacks the hair follicles. Usually parents notice one or multiple smooth bald patches, sudden hair loss, and skin that actually looks pretty normal. Typically, there is no scaling, no redness, no major irritation, just a smooth round or oval patches. And this can happen very suddenly. A parent might say, my children went to school fine, and then a week later we notice a bald spot. And emotionally, this can be really difficult, especially for children. Hair is deeply connected to identity and confidence, even at a young age. Now, alopecia areata can affect the scalp, eyebrows, eyelashes, and in more severe cases, larger areas of the body. Some children only experience one small patch that regrows. Others may experience recurring episodes. And one important thing to understand is that autoimmune conditions can sometimes cluster together. So if a child has eczema, thyroid issues, vitiligo, allergies, or a family history of autoimmune, that information can be relevant. Now, sometimes, and something I want to clarify because there's a lot of misinformation online, parents do not cause alopecia areata. They think that this is happening because you use the wrong shampoo, because you brush too hard, and it's clearly not going to happen because your child ate sugar on a weekend. Autoimmune conditions are complex. That said, we also know that immune system can be influenced by chronic stress, inflammation, nutrient status, sleep, gut health, and overall health. So while there's no magical cure, supporting the body holistically can still matter. And if you suspect alopecia areata, it is important to seek professional evaluation early, because early intervention can always help. Another very common cause of hair loss in children is Tinea capitis. This is a fungal infection of the scalp, and despite the name ringworm, there is no actual worm involved. This condition is especially common in school-age children. Now, this type of hair loss looks very different from alopecia areata. With fungal infections, parents often notice scaling, flakes, redness, itching, tenderness, or tiny broken hairs that look like black dots. Sometimes it can even look like severe dandruff, and this is where misdiagnosing can happen. A child may be treated repeatedly with oils or dandruff shampoos when what they actually need is antifungal treatments. And this is important. Topical products alone are usually not enough because the fungus lives inside the hair follicle. So in many cases, prescription oral antifungal medication is needed. Now, fungal infections can spread. They can spread between siblings through brushes, pillows, hat, share hair tools, so hygiene matters. And parents should know that if a fungal infection is left undertreated for too long, inflammation can be more severe and increase the risk of scarring, which is why early treatment matters. So if you notice flaky patches, broken hair, itching, swelling, lymph nodes, tenderness, or inflammation scalp areas, please do not ignore this. Now let's talk about something I see all the time, traction alopecia. This happens when hair is repeatedly pulled too tightly over time. Common causes include very tight ponytails, braids, buns, extensions, or hairstyles that constantly create tension on the scalp. Usually the hair loss happens around the edges, the temples, or the hairline. And the tricky part is that many parents don't realize it's happening because culturally certain hairstyles are normalized. And sometimes people think, well, the hairstyle only hurts a little. But pain is actually a sign. If a child says, my hairstyle hurts, my scalp feels tight, or you notice bumps, redness, or thinning around the edges, that matters. Early traction alopecia is often reversible, but chronic tension over years can eventually damage follicles permanently, so prevention is incredibly important. And this doesn't mean children can never wear braids or ponytails. It means we want less tension, breaks between styles, looser hairstyles, and attention to scalp health. Protective styling should actually protect the hair, not damage it. Another cause of childhood hair loss that many people don't talk about enough is trichotillomania. This is a condition where a child repeatedly pulls out their own hair, and it's often connected to stress, anxiety, emotional dysregulation, sensory behaviors, or compulsive habits. Now, parents are sometimes shocked when they hear this because many children do it subconsciously, especially while watching TV, doing homework, trying to sleep, or feeling emotionally overwhelmed. The hair loss pattern usually looks irregular. Instead of perfectly smooth patches, you may see uneven areas, hair of different lengths, broken hairs, and incomplete patches. And this is really important. Children with trichotillomania need compassion, not punishment. Shaming a child can increase stress and worsen the behavior. So the approach should focus on understanding emotional triggers, behavioral patterns, stress management, and support. Sometimes therapy can be extremely helpful. And as a healthcare professionals, we always want to remember that hair loss is not only physical, it can also be emotional. Now let's talk about diffuse shedding. This is different from patchy hair loss. Sometimes parents notice my child's hair just seems thinner overall. There's hair everywhere after brushing, or the ponytails feels smaller. One possible cause is telogen effluvium. This is a temporary shedding condition that happens when the body experiences stress. And in children, triggers can include high fever, infections, surgery, emotional stress, rapid weight loss, poor nutrition, or major life changes. What's important to understand is that hair shedding often happens weeks or even months after the trigger. So parents may not connect the dots. For example, a child gets sick in January, then starts shedding in March. That timing is actually very common. The good news is that telogen effluvium is usually temporary, but the body still needs support. We want to evaluate nutrient intake, iron status, protein intake, stress levels, sleep, and overall health. Because hair is considered non-essential tissue, when the body is under stress, it prioritizes survival first. Hair growth becomes less important. This is another huge topic. Nutritional deficiencies absolutely can affect hair growth in children. And honestly, this is becoming more common, especially with highly processed diets, restrictive eating, picky eating, chronic gut issues, or low protein intake. Hair follicles are metabolically active. They need nutrients. Some important nutrients for healthy hair include iron, zinc, protein, vitamin D, B vitamins, and essential fatty acids. Now, I want to be careful here because I don't want parents to panic and start buying 15 supplements online. More is not always better. For example, excessive supplementation can sometimes create new imbalances. So the goal is not random supplementation. The goal is understanding what the child actually needs. And sometimes simple changes make a big difference. Improving protein intake, increasing nutrient-dense foods, supporting overall health, addressing deficiencies when present. And another thing people forget, hair changes can sometimes be one of the first visible signs that the body may need support. So when should parents seek evaluation? I will recommend getting professional guidance if you notice sudden bald patches, excessive shedding, scarring or inflammation, redness, itching, hairline recession, eyebrows or eyelashes loss, hair loss that continues worsening. Also pay attention if the child has fatigue, changes in growth, digestive symptoms, or signs of nutritional deficiencies. Now, depending on the situation, evaluation might involve a pediatrician, dermatologist, trichologist, or other healthcare professionals. And every case is different. Sometimes it's straightforward, sometimes multiple factors are involved. Hair loss is rarely just about hair. So before we finish, I want to talk about something incredibly important, the emotional side. Children can become very self-conscious about hair loss, especially if classmates notice it or if they start feeling different. So emotional support matters. How we speak about hair loss matters. How we respond matters. We never want a child to feel shame. Instead of, what did you do to your hair? We want, I noticed this change and we're going to help you. That emotional safety is important. So to summarize, yes, kids can experience hair loss, and the causes can include autoimmune conditions, fungal infections, tight hairstyles, stress-related shedding, hair pulling, and nutritional deficiencies. The important thing is not to panic, but also not to ignore it, because in many cases, identifying the root cause early can make a huge difference. I hope this video helped bringing you a little more clarity and reassurance. And if this video was helpful, make sure you like and subscribe and share it with another parent who might need this information. Also, let me know in the comments what topics would you like me to cover next. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next video.